Hello everyone. So in today's lecture, we'll be looking at how we can perform consolidation in a workbook and how we can perform consolidation in two or more workbooks. So now suppose if we have a data set, for example, the marks for three subjects, history, maths, English, for 5 students, and we have again a set of marks for again maths, history, English for the same 5 set of students. So now how do we consolidate the marks of both the semesters? So let us assume that we need to calculate the average of marks that these 5 students have obtained in both these exams for maths, history and English. So for doing that, we will select any one of the cells of the empty worksheet and we'll go to data and you'll find consolidate over here. Now click on consolidate. When we click on consolidate, a pop-up window comes up where the function, we have lot of functions like sum, count, average, max, min, etc. So since I was telling that we will try to calculate the average marks obtained in maths, physics, chemistry for these 5 students in both the exams. So we'll select the function as average. Now for selecting the reference, we will select this particular field and we'll go to the worksheet which contains our first exam marks. So we'll go here and we'll select the data set. So I'm selecting the names as well as the subject names and the marks. I'm not selecting more than the required information, neither less than the required information. Once I select this, you will see in reference that the address of the worksheet is mentioned. So we just need to click on add. Likewise, we'll delete the reference field as we have to select the second set of exam marks from the second worksheet. So we'll go to the second worksheet and we'll select the data in that particular sheet again and then click on add. Now since our top row is selected, which consists of subject names like maths, history, English, so I'll select the top row. And likewise, if we see the left column had the names, so we also need that. So we'll select these two and then click on OK. When we do so, we get the average marks of these three subjects for the 5 students shown over here. So if we see for Jerome, for the history subject, we will see Jerome has scored 54 in the first exam and he has scored 54 again in the second exam. So adding that and dividing by 2, we again get 54. So that is how we have got 54 over here. And likewise, we can do the average mark calculation for all the other subjects and for rest of the students. Now the drawback of doing only checking the top row and the left column check boxes in the consolidate pop-up window is that if I change the marks, for example, if we see that Jerome has scored 54 over here, let me change this to 60 and then click on enter. Now the average marks will be different. So it is 54 plus 60 by 2, which is 57. So the average mark in this particular sheet, when I go to refresh and refresh all, it should have refreshed to 57 over here, the history marks for Jerome, which it didn't. So if my sheet is dynamic and I would like my consolidated worksheet to reflect those changed values in terms of the function that is being performed, what I need to do is I need to again click consolidate. I have both the references, it's already added, and just need to tick create links to source data. So I'll click create links to source data. Now before doing this, let me revert back the marks of Jerome to 54 again over here, such that I get the same result as I have got earlier. So consolidate, let me tick create links to source data and then click on OK. Now I've got the same set of response like I have got earlier. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to change Jerome's history marks to 60. So in my sheet, I expect the marks of Jerome to change to 57. That is the average marks. Now, if you see here, it has changed now because we had ticked the third checkbox. So you see over here, just let me highlight it. Now, without ticking that particular third checkbox, that is create a link to source data, if you make changes in the worksheet which you have added as references, it will not reflect the change. But when you tick that select link to source data and you make any changes in your worksheets added as references, you will see that this particular value has updated. The average value has now changed to 57. So this is the advantage of taking the third checkbox. Now this is with only the same workbook. Okay, so in this Excel workbook, I had multiple worksheets. So I had considered two worksheets and did a consolidation on the third worksheet. Now let us see the scenario where, for example, we have a worksheet named Mobile Devices Basics. Okay, so just let me rename this as Basic. Okay, underscore mobiles. So this is the sheet which has basics mobile phone data. And suppose there is one more worksheet, okay, where I have the data related to smartphones, mobile. Okay, so now I have data in two different sheets. One is smartphone mobile in one worksheet, and I have another workbook where it is basic mobiles. So two different workbooks I have. So for creating a consolidation in a third workbook, I'll first open file, a blank workbook. Now this is the blank workbook which I have created, and I'm going to consolidate the data of those basic mobile workbook and smartphone mobile workbook into this new workbook. So what I'll do is again I'll go to data, consolidate. Here let us calculate the sum of sales, since in these workbook either basic or smartphones, for the 5 salesperson from months January to June, we have the sales that has been done with respect to basic mobile phone handsets by that particular salesperson. So Jerome has sold 50 mobile sets in the month of January and so on. And same thing we have in smartphone mobiles data set as well. So I'm just trying to go and do a sum of both these worksheets to see how much sales each of these salesperson has done from Jan to June. So I'll go to the new workbook, consolidate, and here I'll choose the function as sum. references में I'll go to my basic mobile phone data set and I'll select the data. So I don't have to do anything. When I select the data, automatically the address gets populated in the reference field. I just have to click on add. Then I need to delete this field in the reference section because I've already added that. And again, since I want the data set of smartphones also, I'll go to that particular workbook, select the data again, and then click on add. So now you see I have mobile devices basic data and also for the smartphones. Now I have both the top row and the left column, right? And I will also take the create links to source data because if the sheet is dynamic and if I make any changes in these two workbooks, I needed to reflect in this consolidated workbook. So I'll tick this as well and then click on OK. So this is how the data gets compiled in the new workbook. So now just let me concentrate on Jerome's sales for January month. Okay, I'll go to the basics. Jerome has sold 50 handsets in basic, and if I go to smartphones, it is 750. So 50 plus 750, it is 800. So in my consolidated workbook, I need it to display 800, and that is what is being displayed. So like this, you can go across the data set in my basic and the smartphone data set, and you can try and see whether it is the same for the rest of the months as well as the salesperson. Now if you go towards the left hand side of this Excel worksheet, you will see 1 and 2. Now 1 is this particular data set. If I click on 2, it just gets expanded. So what I've done is I have tried consolidating the data in the same workbook, and this is how I get it. And when I expand it by selecting 2, I'm able to expand the data. But I do not want the names like this. It becomes very difficult for me to know what exactly does this particular 50 and 750 belong to. So what I'll do is I'll select the last column. You can select any column as well. But for convenient, I'm selecting the last column. Then select text columns. And here I'll choose delimited because I assume that if you see the preview of selected data, I assume that there are special characters which separate the each field. So I'll just click on next. And now from this data preview, I'll try to identify what is that character which helps me to separate the field. So initially, tab will be selected like this. So tab is not the delimiter over here. So I need to uncheck that and go to others. And if I see here, the single quote is the delimiter which helps me to divide this particular name into two parts. So just let me put the single quote over here and you'll see it gets split like this. So I have the formula, the selected cell, then I have the name of the file and I have the address. So here the single quote is acting as the delimiter. For different other examples, depending upon what is the delimiter over there, you need to put the symbol over here. So it's not always single quote, it can be any other symbol as well. Then click on next, and here now I need to select what I need to do with that particular data. So the first column I do not want it to import. The third column also I do not want it to import. So I'll select do not import column in both these first and the third column. The center column, the second column, I will select general, and this destination, I do not want it to be $H $2. Instead, I would like it to be $I $2, and that is what I've selected. And then just click on finish. So you see automatically this gets populated over here. I can just cut it from there and paste it over here. So now you see I have a better view. So for Jerome, mobile device basic handsets he has sold 50. Smartphones he has sold 750. So the total for Jerome is 800. And likewise you can do it for all the other months. Okay. So like this you'll see for Hina as well, for Deepika as well, for Priya as well, and for Hari as well. It has been calculated. I know clearly now which value stands for the sales of basic mobile devices and which value stands for the sale of smartphone mobile devices. So you can expand like this, and you can instead of manually typing which row belongs to which worksheets data, this is by doing it text to columns, you can easily get to know that. So that's all with respect to consolidation, and I hope you have understood how to do consolidation in the same workbook as well as across two or more workbooks. Thank you.